Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. My name is Diana Gallego. I'm the Senior Director at FCJ Refugee Center. We are located in Toronto, Ontario. I just want to clarify that the information that we are going to provide today, it should not be considered as a legal advice. This is general information that we learn. And when I said we learn with working with alongside with refugee claimants and precarious status migrants here in Canada. Our center had been working for 30 years, and many of our staff are refugees or with precarious status, migrants, or international students. Then sometimes when we do these presentations or webinars, we talk also from our life experience. Then again, it should not be considered as a legal advice. We thank the Law Foundation of Ontario for supporting these kind of webinars. Also, at the end, we are going to have questions period, and I will try to go over all the questions. And thank you, Carolina Teves, our communications coordinator, for supporting us today. Then, who is FCJ Refugee Center? Then we are a non-profit organization. As I mentioned, we had been serving precarious migrants and uprooted people for more than 30 years. We have like 4 main programs. One of the programs is the Immigration Help and Refugee Protection. Is coordinated also with my colleague Edgar Valderrama Medina. We do all the refugee process support. We also support with humanitarian and compassion applications, work permit for refugee claimants. We do like immigration and refugee orientation. We have the second program is the settlement and integration, where we have transitional shelter for women and kids. We do food distribution. We have ESL classes, but those ESL classes are not for refugee claimants because the ESL classes for refugee claimants are funded by citizenship and immigration programs. Our program, the ESL class, is for non-status people or undocumented people. Also, we have a primary care and mental health clinic. Again, this primary care and mental health clinic is for non-status and undocumented. If you are a refugee claimant, you have access through your Refugee ID through the Interim Federal Health Program. And you can attend any hospital, any walk-in clinic, or any family doctor, and you are not going to be charged. Then our clinic is for those that they don't have a status in Canada. Also, we have a youth program. And if among your family members, do you have a youth, you can contact us. It's really a good way to like start doing connections, trainings, and be among peers, supporting each other. Also, we have the anti-human trafficking program. We sadly had to say that in Ontario and in Canada, we have people that have been suffering labor traffic abuses, or they had been facing exploitation, then we have support for this kind of situations. Also, we had the public education and networking, and this public education is part of our the webinars. Also, we have a lot of pamphlets and information that people can access through our website. Then I invite you to go and look all the information that we have in our website, and you can use it freely. Then today we are going to do like an overview of the refugee claim process. Those that are inland means that they arrive in Canada with probably a visitor's visa, with the ETA, the electronic travel authorization from those countries that they don't need a visa application, only the electronic travel authorization, or they arrive in Canada as an international students. And they arrive, they don't claim refugee protection at the port of entry. Then when they are inside, they can still claim protection. Also, there is the port of entry. Those that are come to the land border or any airport, and they claim protection there. Then those that come to the port of entry, as you probably know by now, we only have land border, we share land borders with United States. And United States and Canada, the two countries have signed an agreement since 2004. And is the safety country agreement. What is this about, and why this affect refugee claimants? It means that if a refugee claimant, an asylum seeker, is in the United States and they want to come to Canada, the safety country agreement will affect them. What does mean? Means that if you are a person that don't meet one of the exemptions, and there is only 4 exemptions. If I come to the border like Windsor, Fort Erie, here in Ontario, and I want to I want to enter to Canada as a refugee claimant, then going to see if you meet the exemptions. What are the exemptions? That you have close family members. What are close family members? Parents, children, my aunt, uncle, those are considered close family members. But if I have a cousin, unfortunately, that will not support me to go into Canada. Then if I prove and I have evidence that yes, I have a person in Canada and that person is a close family member, then I will be allowed to cross the border and I will be allowed to claim protection at the port of entry. If I don't prove that, the person or the family can be returned back to the United States. Sometimes they are detained, and or if they are still having some kind of a status in the United States, they are let it go. But that means that you already tried once to claim protection in Canada. And if you try to come back again, you will not be allowed to claim for second time. The second category is the accompanied minors. It's an accompanied minor refugee claimant. They don't have any family member, then they are allowed to cross. And that they have a document holder exemption. Like, I don't need a visa to come to Canada, or I already have a visa to come to Canada. Or if I'm going to be returned back to my country of origin, I will be facing the death penalty. Those are the exemptions. If you don't meet the exemptions, again, then you will be turned back. Now, if you are in Canada and you want to do the claim, you can do it because of the pandemic. Most of IRCC offices had been closed for the last 2.5 years. Now they had been starting opening, but they create something that is called the Canadian Refugee Protection Portal. Then everything, all the forms, all the basis of claim, and later on I'm going to explain what is the basis of claim document. It needs to be sent through the refugee portal. And to do it, it's much better to have like a legal counsel or an organization that can support you to do this process. Why we said that is because when you start the process, you are telling the government, I'm here and I want to start my process, and the Canada Border Service Agency, then they will be aware that you are here. All the communications are going to be through the Refugee Protection Portal. And it's going to be open through your an email account. Sometimes Immigration and Refugees and Citizenship, IRCC, will contact the clients and said, for example, they did additional information on to clarify some things. Then when you open the portal, you need to be aware that you have your username and password, because you will receive like a notification through your email to go and check your refugee portal, and all the communications are going to be inside the portal. If you have a lawyer, then sometimes the lawyers are the one who have the access to the portal. Then we are concerned about why we are concerned about the refugee protection portal is because sometimes we get some clients that said, oh, I have a friend who helped me to open the portal, or I pay somebody to help me to open the portal, but or I don't have access to the portal, or I was not provided with the information how to access the portal, or I lost the information. And they just forget that they start the refugee protection process. When you send the documents, any document through the portal, we have some clients that just send a few forms, you already start the claim. And it means that not only you are telling IRCC, Immigration and Refugee Citizenship Canada and Canadian Border Services that you are here, but also you are you activate the claim. It means that if you don't continue, you can be considered that you withdraw, abandon your case, and then you can receive a deportation order. Then that's why it's important to have real legal advice, or to approach any like non-profit organization that assists refugees to help you with this process. Any refugee claimant in Canada has the right to apply for legal aid. Legal Aid is an organization that is funded by the government of Canada, and the lawyers that are in that list are also the lawyers that you can hire it privately. Then are good lawyers, and they are going to take care about you. Then you can apply, and here are the phone numbers that you can access. When you call, sometimes you are going to wait probably 30 minutes, 45 minutes, wait in line until an agent is going to answer to you. The first agent is going to do the basic questions when you arrive in Canada, if you are going to be an inland claim or you already did your claim at the port of entry. And they are going to set up an account. Again, Legal Aid is going to do like to set up a portal. Then the first agent is going to, they are going to need phone number, they are going to need your email address, and again, they are going to open a portal, and all the communications are going to be through that portal. If you don't have an email address and you don't have an account and you don't know how to do that, then they can do it by paper, but it's much better if you can have access to the portal. This is not the, this is a different portal. This is not the same portal as the refugee claim. This is the portal for legal aid. Then the first agent is going to provide you with a number and they are going to transfer you to the second agent. The second agent is going to ask you more information about your finances. They want, legally wants to know if you have the financial means to pay for a lawyer by yourself. And they want to know, okay, if you came to Canada, did you declare money at the port of entry? Or how much money you came to Canada? Are you working? Do you have money? Do you have any property back home that you can sell and pay your lawyer here? All that information is going to be asked. And the second agent also is going to ask you the question why you are claiming protection. You don't need to provide details about your story. You don't need to prove it. You just need in 2-3 sentences describe why I'm claiming protection from Canada. Again, they don't need to listen to your whole story because legal aid is going to focus only on the financial part. Do you have the money to pay a lawyer or no? Then before I move in here, I forgot to tell you that if you get the CE number, then they are going to, it means that if you have CLT number, that's the file number with legal aid. But if you get the CE number, means that you got the certificate and you can look for a lawyer and you can ask legal aid to provide you with the list of lawyers to contact one of them. Then, as I mentioned, when you claim protection inland or at the port of entry, you need to provide the basis of claim or narrative. If you claim protection inland, it means that you need to fill out all the forms plus the basis of claim or narrative. But if you claim protection at the port of entry, you're going to be provided with some time to do it. I'm going to explain because now sometimes it's a little confused. I'm going to give an example. A refugee claimant crossed the border at 480. This is what is happening right now. You come early at 480, then you will get the refugee ID. It means that the Canadian Border Services did all the assessment about your case, and you fill out some forms with them, and you go out with your refugee ID that some people call the brown paper. And they will give you 45 days from the date that you receive the refugee ID, 45 days to send the basis of claim. But if you were at 480 and you will only provide with the acknowledgement letter, then you will be needs first to fill out some forms that they are going to give it to you. And only when you go back for the eligibility interview to get the refugee ID is that you need to provide the basis of claim. Then I hope that is going to be clear. If you got the refugee ID at the port of entry, at the airport, then you have 45 days to send the basis of claim. But if you only got the acknowledgement either and you just need to fill out the forms, send the forms in 30 days, and later on, when you go for the eligibility interview, is when you need to have the basis of claim on narrative. This is the most important document of your case, because this is what happened to you, why you are fleeing your country. And then you need to go and with detail explain everything there. You can go to our website and we have some resources how to fill out the basis of claim. But again, it's much better that you have legal advice to fill out this form, because again, this is the basis of your claim, why you are claiming protection. Then the IRB, the Immigration and Refugee Board, are the ones who are going to be reading this, and they are going to decide your case. Then that's why it's much better to have legal advice to figure it out. Then this is the new refugee protection claimant that had been called like the brown paper, but this is the refugee ID. Right now, they are not doing renewals of this document. Then if you have your refugee protection claimant, most of the time is valid for 2 years. If already expired, because the offices are still closed, then you can still use it, because through the refugee ID, this is your access to the interim federal health. Then to go to the doctor, to go to a hospital, this is the document that they are going to ask you. But if you don't have that, it means that you haven't gone to the eligibility interview and you just got this, the acknowledgement of claim and notice to return for interview, or this document, notice to submit documents for claim processing. You can have access to the interim federal health. You go here in this small note, they said that this document provides you with the interim federal coverage. Then if you need to go to hospital, you need to see a doctor, they can use this. And the important thing is sometimes the walk-in clinics can tell you, oh, you don't have the refugee ID, I don't know if I can give you service. Then tell them, look, my UCI number is here. Check with the government my UCI number, and that number will let them know that you are covered. We have some clients that come and said they deny me service, and then we say go and check the UCI number, and then when they do, they realize that they are covered. Right now, if you got these documents, then you got also all these forms. Generic application form, additional dependents, Schedule 8, Schedule 12. You need to send these documents in 30 days, okay? And now they are providing the address to go in person or to send it by paper, because many people have been having trouble to follow up with the forms. But if you have a lawyer, the lawyer is going to take care filling out these forms. Then, unfortunately, many of the refugee claimants right now are without a work permit. Why? Because if they didn't go the eligibility interview, means they didn't got the refugee ID, they only got the acknowledgement letter, means they haven't go through the eligibility interview. Then when you go to the eligibility interview that date, you're going to get your refugee ID. And that day, they are going to provide you, the system is going to generate your work permit. And then I invite you to go and look schedule 12. Indeed, in this schedule 12, in the second page, number 10 question, they are asking you if you apply for a work permit. If you did, also you need to check the generic form, because in the generic form, you provide an address. The work permit is going to arrive to that address that you provide in your generic form. It's the same if you got the refugee ID at the port of entry. You are waiting for your work permit, then go and review if the schedule 12 has your name and said you are receiving a work permit, and check the address. Because I have some clients, when they come here, I go and check generic form. I said, are you still in this address? And they said, oh no, I'm not there anymore. For example, I entered through Quebec, and the address that is appearing in that generic form is from the shelter or the place that I was renting for the first weeks. But now I moved to Ontario. Then if you don't change your address, the work permit is going to arrive to that address, and you're going to lose your work permit. And then you need to ask for replacement on that work permit, and it's going to take more time. Then I invite you, if you already had the refugee ID, to check generic form and schedule 12. And again, if you only got the acknowledgement letter, unfortunately, you're going not to receive your work permit until you go for the eligibility interview and you get your refugee ID. Those that came through Quebec, right now, the eligibility interview last week are now for February 2023. Those that are entering in Ontario, they are not getting a date to go back for the eligibility interview, unfortunately. Then we don't know when the eligibility interview is happening, and then you will be without, unfortunately, without a work permit. Also, it's really important that when you start the process with your lawyer, that you are doing the basis of claim, ask them also if some lawyers, they have like a general list of what are the evidence that you need to start looking. Why this is important now is because the IRB, they can identify your case as, okay, everything is there, evidence is there, there is no credibility issues, and they can call you for a short hearing, or they can decide your case by written decision. But some clients are telling me, okay, the lawyer haven't tell me what are the evidence. And I said, well, if you know your case, if you know that you were attacked and you went to the hospital, you know that you need that evidence. Then can you start trying to get it? Also, even though you have a clear case and a strong case with the evidence, sometimes the IRB will still asking for a full hearing, or the lawyer doesn't have the power to ask the IRB to call for a hearing sooner than later. Unfortunately, they don't have the power. And you may be waiting for sometimes 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, 2 years for your refugee hearing. Then I'm going to move for preparing for your refugee hearing. We have some resources, and I invite you to register for the virtual sessions. We have the virtual ready tours that we it's a way to be familiar with the process. You're going to be invited to have a tour with a person from the Refugee and Immigration Board. Then they will explain how the refugee hearing is going to be conducted. They are not going to talk about your case. They will not go in details about if your case is strong or no, or what are you missing. They will not go, but they will go to where the lawyer is going to be sitting, if it's online, what the quality of internet you're going to need, and it's really good. Also, for those that have been going through the refugee hearing and unfortunately they lost the case, is also the virtual hearing for the Refugee Appeal Division. And we have here one coming like tomorrow, May 19. These are for the virtual sessions, and also for the RAT are here in the second one, and you can contact Carolina Teves, and you will have here his email address if you want to register. Then you are going to have a hearing soon, or you want to start preparing for your hearing, then we are going to go through some questions, some general questions. What the Immigration and Refugee Board are going to look. They are going to review your narrative, the basis of claim, the story, why you are fleeing your country. Also, they are going to go through the evidence that you submitted, and the Immigration and Refugee Board are going to review the country conditions in the national documentation package. Most of the lawyers will do this part, but I also tell the clients, if you master the language, even either English or French, go to the IRB website, go to the National Documentation Package, and look through. They are divided by categories. Then, if my case is about that they are killing human rights defenders, I can go to that part and see which documents are there. Then I can see how Canada sees my country if they protect human rights defenders, for example. Then empower yourself to do something with this documentation, and I know the lawyers are going to the ones taking care of this package, but it will help you to see, okay, if I claim about this, what is the perspective about this? Because sometimes there are documents that says this country has a strong laws to protect, for example, gender-based violence. Then can I discuss with my lawyer in reality how this works, for example, and the lawyer may see then how they are going to present your case. Like empower yourself to know what Canada's know about your country and the things that affected you. Then also start thinking about why your country cannot protect you. Did you try to go to the police? Do you have any evidence that you did that? You went to the judicial system, why no? Did you move internally? This is called the internal flight alternative. Did you move to another part of the country? Your country is very big and depends on who is persecuting you. Who was the agent that did the persecution? Like, is an individual, is a group, is the government. And if you move internally, this person or this group is going to be able to find you in another part of the country. Then start thinking about that. Why you fear relocating to another part of the country? Sometimes when I ask that question, they said, oh, I didn't know nobody in that other part. Then I can ask you, okay, you didn't know nobody in that part of the country, but you moved all the way to Canada. and you don't know nobody here. Sometimes you even don't know the language. Then that's not like a good answer. But if I'm from a minority, and if I move into the other part, I will be recognized there. I was a lawyer, and I will be a lawyer denouncing corruption in this small town or in this big town. Why it will be unreasonable to live in that part of the country? Then if I'm from a minority, they discriminate against this minority. Can I be able to find a job? Can I start my life in that part? Then start thinking about that. And I know the lawyer will go through all these things, but this is just to empower ourselves to also have ownership of our own process, and to understand what is going on with my case, and if I go for a hearing, what I'm going to face. Then I always talk to the clients. These are the key issues that your claim is going to be looking for. Identity. This is important, because if I cannot identify myself that I'm from this country, from this area, they will not move to, if they believe me or what happened to me, because they can say, okay, we don't believe that you are from this country. Then I cannot discuss with you if this country is protecting you or not. Then, and I have cases that they were refused because they couldn't prove that they are from that country, for example, or from that ethnicity that it had been persecuted in this country. The second one is credibility. The Immigration and Refugee Board are going to believe me. I don't have contradictions. Then one thing that I will ask is, if you did a port of entry, they ask you some questions. And also, I know, for example, you fill out the basis of claim with your lawyer. Then go back, now that some months pass by, go and check your basis of claim. I'm telling a client, you cannot change your whole story. Okay, you cannot say, oh, this person was trying to kill me, and now you can say, oh no, was not a person, was a gang, was a group. You cannot change completely, but if you go and check your basis of claim and you said, okay, I told the lawyer that the gang attacked me outside my home on Sunday, and now I can remember clear that was not Sunday, was Saturday, because that day I went for shopping, and most of the time I go do my grocery shopping on Saturday. Then I can go back and tell my lawyer, look, I commit a mistake, this was not Sunday, it was Saturday. And you have an explanation for that. Sometimes when we arrive, we are nervous. We have sometimes post-traumatic stress disorder. We forget about dates, but then go back and check. And it's better that the lawyer or the immigration consultant that is representing you go back and do a change of that and update your basis of claim, that wait for your hearing and said, oh no, now I just remembered that was no Sunday, was Saturday. Okay. Also, the internal flight alternative that I already explained, that the subjective fear. For example, I was part of a political minority group, and in my town they they killed the secretary or the treasurer person. I knew another person that was volunteer with the party, and he was the family was threatened if he didn't leave the support of the party. Then I had the fear and knowledge that because I was very active with this political party, I was going to be the next person. The first one is the generalized risk. everybody in my country or in my small town or in my neighborhood, they need to pay like a quota to have a business. I cannot be everyone. You need to be outside of everyone. Why you? Why they target you? For example, I'm a business owner of a small place, and I really try to move to another part, and they always were asking me for money because I'm, for example, my business is very successful, and I'm going to be noticed everywhere that I go to. But if it's just any small business, then you are part of a generalized risk. Or in my small town, it's a high risk that a person can be kidnapped. Then why you? Why not everyone else? And the state of protection. In my country, authorities can protect me. If yes, why I didn't access that state of protection? In some countries, the corruption is very high that I'm really afraid to go to the police, because if I go to the police, I know the police is involved with the persons or the person that had power in the town, and they will tell that person that I went and try to denounce that person, for example. Then why the step of protection? Or you didn't access, or if you access, why they cannot protect you? But again, this last one, the lawyers will take care of this. But just start thinking about that your hearing is going to be around these key issues. Gathering evidence. Again, don't wait for the lawyer to tell you the evidence that is most important and relevant to your case. And remember that if you need to ask for a document because you went and did have a legal case, you need to go and get all those documents, ask somebody. Probably you need to give a power of attorney to somebody to have access to that. Then you know that's a very important piece of evidence. Don't wait for the lawyer saying, oh, in 3 months we are going to have the hearing. By the way, I need this document, and you're just going to start running, get it. Then try to do it as soon as possible. Then any personal evidence. Then if I was part of a small a party, then can I have access to an ID or card that is going to prove that I was member of that group? It was member of a political or religious group, then a membership card, an affidavit from the president of the organization, for example. And even now I know the president of the organization lives in exile in Europe. I can ask that person, but don't wait for last minute, because people is busy. You need to do translations, okay? I need to prove my partner or my spouse was killed, and I ran and I don't have the death certificate, but this is important to me. How I can get that? Then start doing those things. Medical reports, as I was mentioning, if you went to a psychologist, a counselor, these are special for example, gender-based violence. Or you didn't have the access to those specialists, start looking here. Sometimes you can ask the lawyer, and the lawyer can refer you to, for example, the New Beginnings Clinic that is at Camage here in Toronto, or they can send you with a private psychiatric or psychologist, because the Refugee ID, the interim federal health, covers you for those specialist appointments. If there is evidence that you were tortured, then go to see a doctor and get a report. Then all these, you can start looking for them. of if you are feeling that now you are feeling sad, that you are feeling depressed, and sometimes we are coming from our countries that the first time, for example, I'm a refugee myself, and when I came here like 20 years ago, somebody told me that she was depressed, and for me was, okay, why you are depressed? And I start, that was something new for me. And then sometimes we coming from countries that we don't talk about mental health, we don't talk about these things then, but here try to get somebody, a counselor. There are many community centers that have programs, support programs, and that not only can help you to overcome that situation, but also you can use those reports for your case. Then the submission of evidence, your lawyer can do it, and a lawyer can send evidence even 10 days before the hearing, but then don't wait for that. Also have a record that, look, I went to the hospital, and I have been trying for some time to contact the doctor that saw me, and I have been sending emails, I have been calling. Keep record of that, because also if you have a hearing and you don't have a piece of evidence that you have been trying to get it, you can tell the Immigration and Refugee Board, I tried to get this, but I haven't get it. Okay, then keep evidence that you have been trying to get those documents. Then the refugee hearing. Right now, the hearings are going to be remote. The Immigration and Refugee Board, they use Microsoft Teams. And if you have a lawyer, then the lawyer and yourself are going to receive a letter, and they are going to tell you all the things that you are going to need. You are going to need a private space. Sometimes the lawyer will ask you to go to their own practice from their own office. They will do it. But if the lawyer is telling you you need access to internet, you need access to a computer, you need to have access to a private room, then, and if you live in a house with other 5 or 4 roommates, you can probably ask an organization to let you a space, a room to do it. Here at the FCJ, we have been doing this with some claimants. Then the day of your hearing, then you are going to have an interpreter, your lawyer, and one person that is really important if you need an interpreter is that you make sure that you understand the interpreter, okay? Also, if you need to stop at any moment of the hearing because you need to take a break because you are not feeling well, you need to take a medicine, don't be afraid to do it. Then you can ask for a break anytime, and again make sure that you understand the interpreter. If the interpreter is talking too fast, let them know. Don't be afraid of that. Also, the lawyer has to be prepared you for the hearing. What are the main questions that probably he believes or she believes that they are going to ask you? And then be familiar with the package that the lawyer sent, like with all the evidence. Be familiar with that, because you know probably they are going to ask you, go to the evidence and the whole package, they had to be numbered, the pages. Then probably the Immigration and Refugee Board member are going to ask you, go to page 30. Can you see the picture there? Can you tell me who is in the picture, for example? Then be familiar with that, and the lawyer should provide you with the package before the hearing and when they are preparing you for the hearing to go through all that. That is the golden rule. Then don't try to guess what the board member is asking you. If you need to ask for clarification. If you don't know the answer, say, I don't know. Or I really don't understand what you are trying to tell me. Can you reword the question? And be concrete. If they ask you when this happened, when was Saturday? Don't start, oh, I was having dinner and then somebody knocked on my door and then I went outside. No, they're asking not to describe what you were doing and what happened. They are asking when. Then be concise and short. When was Saturday? Where? I was at my home. Who? The guy who had been treating me good that day. And then if they want more explanation, that they are going to ask you, describe the situation. What happened? You told me, okay, that was Saturday, that you were at home. Then tell me what happened. Then try to be aware exactly what they are asking for. And they can ask you the questions, same question in many forms. Because remember, they want to be, you are credible. What you are telling is true. Then if you go, then they are going to see, can you return to your country of origin? If you go back, who is going to harm you? If it's an individual, that individual has the total power in your country to harm you everywhere. Did you seek help for the authorities? And I already discussed this. Or if you go and move to another part of the country. Then who is going to be at your refugee hearing? Then the board member from the Immigration and Refugee Board, yourself, and any family member that is less than 18 years old. They don't have to attend. The interpreter, the legal counsel, and also sometimes the minister representative. If the minister representative is going to be present in your hearing, they are going to, in advance, let you. And why this is sometimes people is concerned that the minister representative is showing up to your hearing is because the minister representative probably found something about you, or they want to ask you some questions, or they want to oppose that you become a protected person or convention refugee in Canada. But again, it's not that they are going to show up to your hearing without you or your lawyer knowing about that. They will let you know before. And if the minister have evidence against you, they will let you know what is the evidence about. And the lawyer and yourself can do like send submissions why you don't agree with that evidence, for example. Then this is not common, but sometimes they let you know that they are coming, and your lawyer will let you know why exactly they are coming and what is going on. Then the hearing, the day of the hearing, then speak clearly, don't rush. I know that you will be nervous, but remember that I mentioned before that you can attend the virtual tour. Many clients have been telling us that because they attend the virtual tour, they knew what to expect, how to conduct themselves. Then try to be calm as much as possible, and if you need a break, please ask for that. Then what happens after the refugee hearing? Then sometimes at the end of the refugee hearing, the board member is going to declare you a protected person or a convention refugee. If they give a positive decision, it's going to be, the name of that decision is bench decision. But if they don't tell you that you are got a positive decision, don't worry. It's not because it's going to be a negative. Sometimes the board member they need to write why they are letting you be a protected person or convention refugee, and they need more time, or the date of the hearing, an issue came up and they want to do more research, but don't worry about it, you don't get a positive decision. Then they are going to send you the decision, positive or negative, and the lawyer and yourself can still doing sending evidence if it's something new that was not before. Or for example, if you have been trying to get the medical report, you went for the hearing, you present evidence that you have been contacting the doctor or the hospital, and happens that after the hearing, 1 week later, you got the report, you can still submit it if you haven't received the decision, okay? Then if you are accepted, then you become a protected person or convention refugee in Canada, and you can apply for permanent residency. And you can start doing family reunification. What is family reunification? Means that if your families are overseas, who can you reunify? You can reunify your spouse and children that are less than 22. Means that today, I claim protection today, May 18, and today, May 18, I got my refugee ID. Today, my son is 21. If I'm going to have my hearing in 2 years, my son is going to be 23. Can I still be reunified because the regulation says I can only be reunified with my children that are less than 22? The answer is yes, because the day that I claim protection, my son was 21. It's called lock-in age. The day that I claim protection, the child should be less than 22. But if today my child is 22, even by a date, sorry, you cannot reunify your child. Then again, spouse and children. I cannot be reunified with my brothers, sisters. I cannot be reunified with my grandparents. I cannot be reunified with my mom and dad, okay? Only my spouse and children. If unfortunately you get a negative decision, you can go and do the appeal to the Refugee Appeal Division. You will have 15 days from the day that you receive the decision, the negative decision, to send something that is called notice of appeal, to tell the Refugee Appeal Division, yes, I'm going to appeal. And you will have another 50 days, 30 days in total to do the appeal. These days, the Refugee Appeal Division, the regulation says in total 30 days, but because the pandemic, they have now a regulation that says that in total you have 45 days. 55 days to tell the Refugee Appeal Division, yes, I'm going to appeal, and 30 days to perfect the appeal. Then if you get a negative decision, again, you can call legal aid and try to get a certificate to do the appeal. Then again, you can access to a virtual tool to go to the Refugee Appeal Division to understand what exactly is that you need to do for your appeal. If again, you get a negative decision from the Refugee Appeal Division, you can go to the federal court and do a judicial review. If you go to the federal court and do a judicial review, also you can do a humanitarian and compassionate if you have children in Canada. If you don't have children, you are alone, you need to wait 1 year from the last decision. Sorry. You need to wait 1 year from the last decision of the judicial review to do a humanitarian and compassion. There is 2 exemptions to go to do a humanitarian and compassionate before the 12 months. That you have children here or back home, or you have health issues, but the health issue is not, oh, I have a high pressure, blood high pressure. No, it needs to be something that if you are going to be sent back home, you cannot get treatment there and you can die. Or if I have a heart condition, I take a plane, I can die. Then it needs to be a serious health issue. And the last thing that a rejected refugee claimant is going to be offered in Canada is the pre-removal risk assessment program. Means you did the RATs, you lost. You went to the federal court, you lost. Sometimes you even do the humanitarian and they deny you. Then when the CBSA, Canadian Border Services, is ready to remove you, they can call you and say, okay, you are ready to be removed. If already 12 months passed by the last decision, Refugee Appeal Division, last decision, the federal court of your refugee claim, you can be called by CBSA and they need to provide you with the pre-removal risk assessment. But if it's less than 12 months, they can remove you and they will not offer the PRA. The pre-removal risk assessment is you need to have new evidence. You cannot argue the same that you already lost your case. You need to have new evidence. And that's why the pre-removal risk assessment acceptance is only like 3% of acceptance. It's because it needs to be a new evidence, and the evidence needs to be that if I go back to my country, I will be facing torture or I will be killed. Other things, they will not consider that. Then if you have questions, you can contact us. I invite you to be connected with us through the Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to see if there is some questions. And I'm going to see. Okay, I know some people were asking about a telephone number, but again, the presentation is going to be sent to those that register and attend today. Okay, I see Carolina answer here. Okay. I don't see, yeah, I think I see that Carolina answered all the questions. Then they are asking if health coverage by IFH is the same as Ontario Works coverage. What do you mean is the OHIP? There are differences in those coverage. Okay. Okay, I don't see any more questions. Then if you need to ask a question, and you can contact us and I can talk to you. What is the time period between submitting refugee claim submission in land at the airport and eligibility interview? Again, those that are coming, for example, from United States through Quebec, the eligibility interview right now, last week, those that are claiming in Quebec, the eligibility interview is that you are entered May, eligibility interview is going to be February 2023. Those that are coming in Ontario, unfortunately, those that are coming through Pearson Airport or Fort Erie, we have been seeing that they don't have an eligibility interview date. Then I cannot tell you how long it's going to be. I only have one case in Ontario that they enter through a small airport, and the eligibility interview was set up for September 2022, and they entered in April. Then really, I don't going to tell you the time. Right now, there are a lot of people entering to Canada to claim protection. Then it can be 6 months, it can be a year. During the pandemic, people were without a work permit, without eligibility interview for 1 or 2 years. I hope this is not going to be now the same case, because now the COVID numbers are reducing. Then CBSA are probably be able to see more people. That's why it's taking so long, because they only see people by interview, and they cannot see people like one by the other one, and they cannot have many appointments at the same day. That's why the eligibility interview is getting so long, unfortunately. Okay, then I don't see more questions. Then thank you for being here, and I hope the information that I provide to you have shared some light in your journey in Canada to claim protection. Then thank you, and you can contact us anytime. Take care.